All right, this is gonna be really noisy actually. How can you sell flowers on Etsy and become a millionaire? In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I sold fake flowers on Etsy for the last 7 years and made over $1.7 million in revenue. And that's over $1 million in profit. Now, anyone can do this. You don't have to be creative or an artist. And I'm going to show you 10 reasons why this works and how you can get started. And before we get started, I'm gonna ask 2 things. Please comment below yes if you would be willing to sell fake flowers to make $8,000 to $10,000 in profit per month. And also, I've realized that only 40% of my viewers are subscribed. So please, if you have not subscribed to my channel and you like hearing about real e-commerce principles applied to Etsy, definitely hit the subscribe so that you can see all of our upcoming videos. One thing is that these actually fall into the supply category when they are made for an event or an occasion. So finished items in the floral category can be sold as a supply category item. So this means literally no extra work required on your side. You don't have to alter anything or hand make anything. And what that means is you can outsource it, which means it's scalable. I was always selling my floral items in the handmade category, and it wasn't until I had already sold over $1 million that I started to list these as supply category items, which was a huge missed opportunity. And now we do over $60,000 a year just in the supply category alone. And that is just on the Etsy channel. I also sell on Shopify and Amazon. So as you can see, I've had 612 sales or orders on this one silk flower listing, $16,217 in revenue at about a 70% margin. Sometimes we have seen single orders come through for over $4,000 for only supplies. And all you have to do at that point is just package it up and ship it, or have the manufacturer ship it for you. Here is a supply category floral shop that is simply packaging and reselling supplies. This completely falls within Etsy's supply category policies. You can see the shop has over 108,000 sales. Now here's another shop that is also selling in the supply category, and it is with these items that are for events or occasions. For wedding, it is so easy to sell finished floral items under the supply category. You can see this shop is doing it here. You can tell from the pricing that they are not altering these at all. The second thing about this floral category is that silk flowers are very high margin. You can sell them alone like this, which is still high margin, or you can sell them as finished items, which can be even higher margins. So if you alter or hand make anything with these, it will be typically even a higher margin because you're putting in a little bit of sweat equity. So my margin on my finished floral handmade items or altered items is typically around 70%. And my margin on my straight supplies, where I am just packaging and reselling, that is around 50 to 60%. Now, I started out just by selling one floral item that I used in my wedding, and that margin was around 70% when I started. And that was because it was customizable and made to order. You'll have a much higher margin if you allow for customization. This is one of my favorites. This is actually the cheapest flower I have. This is less than 10 cents per flower, and I love using it as filler. So it's not a star feature flower, but it is very, very useful. Another great thing is that silk flowers will scale your order count, that number under your shop name, very quickly. Typically, people don't just buy quantity one, but sometimes they will buy 40 or 50 unique styles. And you can see, they might buy a whole range from mums to ranunculus to peonies to roses. And that is why the shop Simply Sarah Floral, they do very high volume from their order count perspective. I regularly have one person's transaction drive up my order count by 20 to 30 orders or sales. So it really helps the overall perception of your shop. This is how we store most of the flowers, in these bins. This is a flower that was actually used in a celebrity's nursery decor, and she was one of the bachelorettes, and we looked high and low to find this, and we found it. We bought about $10,000 of this flower. It's about 20 cents a flower, and it's been a really high margin item for us. Another thing to note is that the SMU game is strong, especially in Taiwan. If you are not familiar with SMUs, these are special makeups. It's a term used in e-commerce and retail. Special makeups are basically when the manufacturer makes something exclusively for you. I'm going to show you an example of how I did a special makeup on this specific flower. I had this exclusively made for us in Taiwan. The cost was around 30 cents per flower head, and I got that price down because normally it comes on a stem like this with leaves, but I got the cost down about 12% by removing this stem part. Here's an example of me working with one of my suppliers. They're the ones that do special makeups for me. If you need help developing supplier relationships, let us know. That is something that we can teach you how to do. And we actually bought 4,000 flower heads of this style, and it has done quite well for us. Now, you can also see that these flowers are very flexible. Silk flowers tend to ship very safely and cheaply. So I always look for very cheap and non-breakable items because that just makes it easier to scale when there is less waste and more predictability with the customer experience. Plus, with how lightweight these are, most of the time they will fall under 16 ounces as long as there are 20 flowers or less in a box. So that means cheaper international shipping as well. Something else about this product is that it photographs very well. And in the supply category, choosing something that photographs well is always a good idea. Here's an example of a supplier in Hong Kong. So this is much closer to the source, but their shipping times are going to be longer. So that's how you can compete here. But these products, you can see they didn't put a lot of thought or time into the photos, but they still photograph really well. The colors, the dimension, it's very easy to photograph these. Silk flowers are also a less expensive alternative to a necessary purchase. People purchase flowers for events, for life events like weddings, funerals, birthdays, showers, and silk flowers can often be a less expensive version of the real option. And the other part of silk flowers is that people buy them way further in advance. So your sales are going to be much more consistent year round. Even let's say you're in the wedding market, fulfillment doesn't have to happen within that week of the wedding. Your fulfillment could happen months and months before the wedding happens. So this will lead to more consistency in your sales month over month. And faux florals are great repeat purchase items as well. People rarely use the same exact silk flowers for every single occasion. They're not going to take this from their grandma's funeral and reuse it for their 1-year-old's birthday party and then reuse it for a bridal shower for their cousin. They're typically going to buy new flowers for every occasion. People usually are looking for a new look or a new color scheme, which means as long as you have high quality and a great experience, they will keep coming back. And you can serve your customers easily for 4 to 7 years in this category. And silk flowers, faux florals are great for international orders and for serving international customers. People often don't have access to the same wholesale opportunities that you might have, and they might not have the same connections or know how to build those connections. So silk flowers is just one category that can make millions on Etsy. In my first full year on Etsy, I made $134,000. I was making over $360,000 a year by year 4. If you're wondering if I got lucky with silk flowers this one time, no. I have taught over 2,000 Etsy sellers how to build scalable businesses using real e-commerce principles just like we did here. And now I have a company of over 25 people. We just launched our brand new program a few weeks ago, the Ultimate Etsy course, and we took all the feedback from our first course and used that to build this one. And the feedback from our students has been phenomenal. And the reason these results are repeatable across categories is because we teach you real e-commerce principles. So silk flowers is just one product category you could do this with. Please don't forget to comment below if you would be willing to sell silk flowers or have a faux floral business to make $8,000 to $10,000 minimum in profit per month. I want to know who you are if you are willing to do that. I hope you enjoyed seeing our workspace for the Etsy shop here and this different type of video. Please subscribe if you want to see more similar to this. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.
After I joined the program, I gained so much clarity. Dylan is a wealth of knowledge and she shares all of her secrets with you. That coaching aspect of it, you can't get that through reading or watching videos. So that's what makes this program really unique.